Daddy Mac. Dan's 30 years got our way, trading life and markets every day. Rusty's chained to the mines, digging deep day by day. But when Option Omega releases new features, he's free to come out and play option. Omega, you're trading home, where every move makes you feel less alone.
Dan, how the heck
Troy,
are you?
good morning. Good morning, everybody.
I'm trying to block the sun with my fat head. I think
Troy, I think with the sun coming, you have to get, maybe we'll get someone like Rob to get you a contact with Hawaiian Tropic. And I just picture, I remember when I was vain in 17 or 18, we go on the beach and you pour all this Hawaiian Tropic oil all over you.
Yeah.
And I just picture Troy. I mean, we talked yesterday about Telly Savalas being one of your, one of the good actors. I picture Troy. I mean, I'm just picturing, we put some Hawaiian Tropic on the head, get a nice suntan with the cigar. We could bring Telly to life. We could bring Telly to life.
No, I think the options world has been waiting for the new options Kojak to come along.
That's right.
Dan,
I like that.
We've had a heck of a morning already. Dan and I literally just were together 10 minutes ago, eating breakfast, drove to our respective locations to do the show. Dan, top 3 breakfast items if you had to eat 3 things in sequential order, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 3 things on repeat the rest of your life.
Well, when I go to this place, and you got to be careful, but that's the thing with breakfast restaurants. They're a gold mine because it's cheaper, right, for the food. But the other thing is you look at the menu, like you were looking at the menu today, and it's like, okay, all they're basically saying in different combinations, eggs, potatoes, and bacon, maybe a biscuit, right? Eggs, potato. And so for me, it's the potatoes, the egg, and the bacon it's called the special, Sammy Special. And people are getting the same thing. You can hear the waitress go from table to table. So you're getting a special? Yeah. Or the only thing they'll say is no bread or with bread, special. How about you, Troy? Now you're a little more creative. I've seen you like at First Watch or some of those. You've got kind of an whatever that word is, eclectic. I'm not sure what it means, but you have that. You'll try different things. You're a little more creative than I am.
Well, I mean, you can't go wrong with a breakfast burrito. Any type of breakfast burrito, it's going to be tough to beat. I don't want to put it in 3 because I don't think I could eat this the rest of my life, like every third day. I'm a sucker for biscuits and gravy sometimes. I like biscuits and gravy. And then, to round it out, I mean, if we're talking about just you have to eat something every 3 days the rest of your life, sequential order, probably a bowl of cereal. Probably just go in a bowl of cereal for that one.
You know what? Yeah, and how about, a lot of people would go, I think, how many people have you talked to? They'll say, I just have a bowl of, especially if you're a guy, it's supposed to help, oatmeal in the morning, right? And, but the taste, it probably defeats the purpose, but throwing brown sugar on the oatmeal, that's the only way I could get it to work. But that kind of defeats the purpose, doesn't it?
Yeah, no, it does. But I hear what you're saying, and I think that's appropriate. So Dan, speaking of hearing what the market's saying, saying, I hate you, Troy, and I want you to die. That's what the market's saying.
We're going to take volatility to 10, Troy.
Yeah, that's right. Do you like
Yeah.
vol, Troy? I'm just gonna switch back and forth because it's the sun.
Oh yeah, the sun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Troy, it's interesting. I was just thinking yesterday, wake up and CNBC, and I'm looking at President Trump was talking about, how the markets, we're close to an ending. The market's going to rally. And I just looked at this and I thought, now he did catch himself and say, we've already, but I mean, when you look at what's happened, it's astounding. Now, let's go over this real quick. And I just want to say, when you look at anytime we've had a correction, let's go back again. And as we're looking at trading at the end of the day on March 30th, we're saying we're down 10%, right? And again, this isn't 14 years ago. This is 2 weeks ago, right? 2 weeks ago, 10% rally, or 10% decline in the market, blah, blah, blah. In 2 weeks, I mean, think about how astounding in this. In 2 weeks, we've gone up 10%, right? That's astounding to me. Now, part of it isn't as astounding. And you say, like, what part wouldn't be astounding? Well, anytime we're down 10% on 7,700, you're thinking, those are your biggest fear for the upside, the rip your face off rally. Because if we're down 700 points, usually corrections historically have been a little bit quicker on the downside. We don't just come up 10 points in SPX for 100 days and get it all back, or whatever, 80 days. And so, but this has been even faster than normal, right? So even without the war and all that, if you had a 10% correction, when we come back, you're going to have some turbulence on the upside, right? Some fast days. This has been incredible. I think today would be in the ES, right? Today would be the 11th day, right? And I'd love to look statistically and say, how many plus 11 days in a row have we had since Julius Caesar came to Chicago or Knoxville? Not many, right? And you say, what? But psychologically, you're feeling this will always continue. The psychological aspect now is we'll never have a down day the rest of our lives.
Now we're done with down days, yeah.
But look, think about how quick the psychology. 2 weeks ago, the world's over. No one's going to look at their retirement account. The world's over. The world's over. The world's over. Now, good news or bad news is good news, right? Everything is erased. Everything is okay. And I think, that's what's in front of us today, right? The fact that how much Kool-Aid, right, if you're going to get long deltas at this point, right? It's like, you used to see ever see that, like, I remember like some of the news, whether it be CNN or CNBC or Fox News, back in the day when the market's roaring, every other commercial was gold. Buy gold, sell your kids, buy gold. Don't eat, buy gold.
That's right.
And I'm not saying we can't rally more, but I'll say a fact, right? We will have a down day in the next month. I will bet any viewer will have a down day in the next month, right? Dan, you're really going out on the. No, my point is, even in an up move, you're going to have a stinking, you're going to have something, right? Now, it doesn't mean we're going back to 6,300, right? But I think, and the other thing is, we're at 17, it says we're going to open under 18 in VIX. Perspective, 2 weeks ago, we were what, 30, 31? So we've come down, what is that? Almost 50% or whatever, right? In VIX, somewhere around there. And so it just makes it interesting. I think, for me right now is a looking at the market, looking at what's in front of us, right? Not what's going to happen in a month. That's way too far, right? Or even 2 weeks. What you'd be comfortable with, something that a trade that would give me more room on the downside, but is relatively delta neutral. You say, that's not possible. having your cake. No, you can do, relatively little, very little delta, right? So
Yeah.
like a calendar under the market, you could be close to delta neutral, and you could put, you could do, a 3-week calendar, 50 points under the market, you're delta neutral, so you can handle the upside. But you can do that on less expiration stuff. But I think I'd rather be net long volatility here. But it's not like perspective. It's not like, we always historically, wouldn't you agree? You can't, from a volatility perspective, vols can stay low a lot longer than vols can stay high, right? If you look at a VIX chart, the volatilities, if I'm going to buy a put or a put vertical debit spread on VIX, betting it'll go down, I'm going to go 7 days, no more than that out, because you're looking quicker. But like yesterday, we did a vertical debit spread in the community. Shout out to Meet. He did one, I did one. But what I liked about it is it's June, right? It's a vertical debit spread for whatever it was, $1, but it's in stinking June. And you say, well, why? Why did you go so far? Because if you look at a VIX chart, can VIX stay low for months and months in a lower area? Yeah. And I know many times I've had a vertical debit spread or a long call in VIX, and, I'll have it on for a month, month and a half. It'll lose. And then a week or two later, it'll go down.
Literally,
so you need more duration if you're betting VIX will go up. But if someone said, would you rather be a little net long Vega on your trades here? Yes, absolutely. Right? Because I don't think we're going to 14. It's easy to get in that mentality. Wouldn't you say, Troy? When it's going down, it's like the movie's going to be over in 1 minute. Okay, we're at VIX at 30. We're going to go to 0 like this. Okay, then what? Then what are we going to do when we're at 0? We got to come back the other way, right? But I think 17 and along with 11 days up, and you notice yesterday, Troy, with VIX was staying. The more we went up, the more VIX went up. The more the market went up yesterday, and with that speed, when you get speed to the upside 11 days up, VIX is getting very sticky yesterday, right? It basically said, nah, well, I'm not drinking that Kool-Aid anymore. And VIX didn't, at this point, VIX is going to go down extremely begrudgingly.
That's exactly right. I look at it as like the higher the VIX, the more it's not gas, it's not fuel, but it's a fuel of speed that you can get, a 30 to 20 VIX. It could go really fast. Market could go up 10% in just a number of days. And we saw that. Like once you're under VIX 20, at least in these days, the market can go a lot higher and VIX can go a lot lower, but they're both going to happen a lot slower.
Right. And that's the thing. If you've got trades on that you can get off in 2 to 4 days or 1 to 4 days with the positive theta, it's not as big as a bump, right?
You actually, if you wanted really to see all-time highs like blow through, which I think we are, but if you really wanted to see it, you would actually want VIX to be like at 22 or 23 right now.
You would. I agree with you. But I'll tell you, I would be comfortable with, again, it depends on the durations, right?
Yeah.
Where you're, but like you speak of like a calendar or a double calendar or a mixed month trade. I'm not that concerned about getting beat up on volatility, right? Now, if you do like a double calendar and you're doing a 20 delta on your longs, you're already sagging in the middle, right? But for that middle, wouldn't you agree, for that middle to hurt you, it has to get help from the longs,
100%.
right? And I don't know how much help you're going to get, how bad that middle will get, even if you do a 20 delta at these volatilities, right? It could, right? And I'm not saying, I know there's more to it. Again, it depends on your duration, but even a 7x14, I'm not that worried about it, right? It doesn't mean you can't lose, but we've just dropped 50%. We're at 17. It can go down some more, but I'm comfortable at this point. Right? If I'm going to be to trade 2-3 days, my bigger concern is not the volatility. If I'm doing a decent, is the move, right? Because we're setting up. It's like I'm not a big roller coaster guy, but if you look at the price chart of ES right now, that's a stinking roller coaster, right? We've gone up, 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 up 11 days. And, we're just setting up potentially, and it doesn't mean down, right? We could do another 200 points up, and then people get on the ledge outside their office window saying, I can't take it anymore, right? But I just think this kind of setup is potentially can really move. Now, it seems like we should be going down, but when our president says we can now, after we've been up 10% in 2 weeks, now we can have a rally, right?
8,000, here we come.
Yeah, as if, and but anyway, I mean, it's interesting, but it's not easy for a trader to say, focus on, your back test and everything, but focus on also what's in front of you today, right?
Right.
Today is a little bit different than, yes, every day is going to be different, but what's in front of you? Okay, we're in ES, 11 days up. And, again, I was wrong. Yesterday, I remember you asked me, Troy, you said, Dan, where do you think we'll close today? And I prefaced it, and I'm glad I prefaced it by saying, no one's worse at direction than Dan Sherry, so don't listen to me. I thought we would hang out at the, I believe, 69.90, right? Or was that 69.80? Yeah, where were we yesterday?
We were at 60.
Are we talking SPX? Oh, you're talking SPX, right?
Yeah, we were at 6,900 SPX.
Let me get 6,900. So you said, where would we? We were near 6,900. So I just picked the whole number, the big number theory, right? And okay, we'll hang at 6,900 because I thought, again, using the bad analogy, I thought it would be like if you're climbing to Mount Everest, you have these, what are they called? The stations.
Sherpas. Oh, base camp.
Sure, base camp. And I thought, you know what, this doesn't seem, so we're going to go in 2 weeks from 6,300 to 7,000. I thought there'd be at least a little bit of a base camp at 6,900, then make the trek to 7,000, right? But yesterday proved wrong. I thought we'd stay around within spitting distance of 6,900, but it looks like we're opening today will be more spitting distance to 7,000. So again,
well,
but again, I think for people who have got maybe their wings clipped a little bit, if you're short a little deltas, it is important, wouldn't you say, Troy, for traders to have perspective, right? Because people can be very emotional. It's like, this stinks, I'm not trading options. 500-600 points, 600 points, and what are the probabilities? What is the stinking expected move for 2 weeks? It's not 600 points, right? So you could confidently tell somebody, hey, this is an outlier, right? It's an outlier. It's like the Chicago Bears winning a Super Bowl. It's an outlier. Right? They haven't won it since 1985 as a Chicagoan. So I mean, I think you need perspective. Otherwise, you can get discouraged and say, I'm not trading. This is crazy. But that's why I think the expected moves are good. Did we move an expected move this week? Did we move more? I mean, think about it. For 2 weeks, Troy, this is like over 3 standard deviation, I think.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And real quick, before I forget, what was it like in 1985 in Chicago? Like, was that parade fun? Did you go to the parade?
But you know what made the Chicago Bear I didn't go, but you know what I used to see, the Chicago Bears, what made that fun for the city, the 1985 winning the Super Bowl. And it's like, if that just shows a fan of a certain city. If you asked me from 1985 to 2026, tell me who won Super Bowls. I have no idea. But I can tell you the Bears won in 1985. But what it made it fun for a typical Chicagoan is these guys worked hard, but it was it was pure entertainment, not the football part. The characters on the team, it's one after another. The head coach and the defensive coach were just phenomenal. Mike Ditka and Buddy Ryan were just two ordinary, funny guys. And basically the defensive coach said, I'm running the team. And Mike Ditka, the head coach, no, I'm running the team. And the sound bites were just, it was fun. Who wouldn't like it, right? It's like the sound bites are unbelievable. It's like the president, people will miss him, obviously they're very serious what's going on now, but in terms of sound bites, the news stations will be crying once President Trump is out of office, right?
Yeah.
And it goes back to normal, boring politics and everything like that.
I know.
But the entertainment value with the Bears was just, these guys were just one more, not clown, but just they were just funny guys. Anyway,
speaking of the Bears,
Bears.
I've got a calendar for you to look at today, real quick, and then I'm gonna say this: we're gonna sign off a little bit earlier today. We are about to start trading a lot more next week, and so this week has been a research week for me. I've got to go over to the Option Omega Development Center straight away after this and do some work, and then go from there. But remember, Discord's going to be back next week, and we'll keep going until 10 a.m. next week on here. So, but real quick,
with stocks, right, Troy? Stocks, a lot of
a
lot of research.
Earnings season, we got a lot going on.
I think that's fun. I mean, playing earnings season. This is April's kicking into gear. I think that'll be fun. And what's fun is you can test it. And that's what I'm looking forward to, playing earnings the last 10, 20 years blindly. I mean, blindly, not remembering from one earnings to the other. You're playing it, but having the data, I think it'll be pretty cool.
100%. Rob, Waffle House is not the official OO Development Center. You are correct for right now. Stay tuned. Anyway, okay. So here's the test. I got a test for you. This is the NORB. And if you remember, this is the no opening range breakout. So basically, this is for when we have stayed in the range from 9:30 to 10:30 in the morning. And then there's a 4-minute window. I give it a 4-minute window, we say, between 10:31 and 10:35. If we have not broken up out of that range for that first hour, we're going to open a 0-1 double calendar. And it's a 20 delta. This can be improved, I promise you. A 20 delta 0-1 calendar. And you exit the trade at 3:48 p.m. And so let me save it real quick and give it to you guys. You can play around with it. But that's something that's interesting. And I actually think those type of trades, Dan, as we get into kind of what I perceive to be 7,000 is a major level, maybe a little bit of a grindy market for the next couple days, chances are high of a grindy market. Might be something worth considering. I
think it's a great time. I like the NORB stuff. I mean, it makes me think of St. Norbert's, a Catholic college in Wisconsin, I think, St. Norbert's. But
shout out,
I had a cousin that went there. But I like it because and now you don't have anything on. I like it because looking for range bound trades, right? Relatively. But even though in this, you could say a 20 delta, a 20 delta versus a 30 delta, you want some movement, right? Unless your middle, how do you
0-1?
Would you have, because you're doing 20 delta, you're going to have a sag in the middle. What's your thoughts, Troy, on would you put any, if you were going to, let's say you wanted to try to improve this, would you do a long short ratio? Would you put some kind of vol?
You could, and if you run it back like 2 years, I don't think it performs as well as it has this year. So that gives you an opportunity to make it look at some filters that have worked previous iterations since SPX dailies. I keep saying SPX dailies 2 years. SPX dailies is 4 years at this point, which
Yeah.
is wild. It's been a crazy 4 years. So, but no, I think you definitely could do that. I think you could test the deltas. I think you could test different times to say, like, maybe you let it run to 11 and see what happens. There's definitely some things you can do to improve the trade. But I thought it was an interesting idea as we approach days like this where we might not be going up 80 today. We might go down 80 today, but I bet we'll be in somewhere in between if I had to guess.
But if you said to me, like, on a discretionary trade today, would I like this? I'd say right off the bat, yes. Right? And two reasons. One, I think we'll be a little more range bound after this. But the other thing is, because this type of trade is long vega, right? And not that we're not going to VIX 0. I'm joking, but I think VIX has dropped from 30 to 17, right? Almost 50% in 2 weeks. I don't think there's a lot of. I would be more doing this type of trade the rest of the week or whatever. I'd be comfortable doing it just because I think the longs have gotten 12 hits to the head, right?
Right.
Now the longs, I just think it's taken a hit for the most part. I think
it's pot odds. I mean, it's
pot
like,
odds. It's
We going up 50 again today? I mean, probably not. Could we? Sure, but probably not.
You got a 20 delta, right, that can handle the move.
Yep.
But I think the middle is now, does this show if you put a graph of this up, Troy?
I don't have a graph.
Does
And
it
the
show
reason
the
is
short long ratio on this?
no, this is a little bit of a test account, but you could definitely do that. So you could go into your thing and have it. I don't actually. This is a play account that I'm running some different things on. So I don't have modeling set up for this, but you definitely could. And if you have modeling or automation, you can definitely graph it out and see it.
I like it. Hey, Troy, real quick. I don't know if we have time. What if you did a 25 delta?
Let's try 25 delta real quick.
I'm just curious if it changed much. What changed? And you're running this just for the year at this point, right?
Yeah, year to date. And you run it. We'd have to look at it. It looks like it runs less, which we'd have to dig into why it does that. So
it runs less. The win percentage went through the roof, but what got worse?
Oh, it might be. Hold on. Let me just, for cleanliness sake, just make sure you have plenty of. Okay, so it's an issue of buying power. So we'll go back to that. So you just got to up the buying power a little bit.
Oh,
pay more.
Oh yeah, because it's more expensive. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, it still runs. It still runs very well with it. But
1925. Okay.
That's the market open, and that's my call to get to Waffle House. I mean the Ocean Mega Development Center. Guys, listen. What are we doing, Dan? What are we up right now?
We are up 11 points, and folks, I'm going to make a sound, right? That's the balloon with the balloon of volatility balloon with the air coming out. We have hit 17.53 in the VIX, which, again, we were 30 2 weeks ago. And that's, could it go lower? Yes. And things generally do, but I think we could just kind of, I said yesterday could be a day that we're sitting in the SPX near 6,900. So now I'm doubling down. Now I'll say near 7,000, but play what's in front of you, right? And I think a range bound day. I like the long vega. I like the DC type thing or the calendar, but I'd like to get, try knowing that in the OO community, you have multiple entry iron condors. If people trade multiple entry calendars or multiple entry double calendars. I mean, I think that there's, it's like, going to the beach. Are we getting equal opportunities for, is everybody at the beach? If we go to Rob's in Daytona Beach, you want everybody to have the opportunity to use Hawaiian Tropic. Do the DCs get the opportunity? Why can't you do multiple entry on that?
Why not both? Why not both?
Because when you think about it, multiple entry iron condors are going to be more expensive, aren't they?
Oh yeah.
If you're doing them in multiple entry double calendars. So, can we get a couple T-shirts for multiple entry double calendars? I just want equal opportunity, Troy.
I think so. And listen, we don't give financial advice. Dan and I don't give financial advice. This is for entertainment purposes. But Tom Lee does. And he said,
but Tom Lee said
7,000 today. Tom's calling 7,000 today. So, all right, guys, listen, I've got to run. Have a great trading day. We'll be back tomorrow. Dan, thank you. We'll talk to you.